Next year, there'll be a new breed of electric car. Plug-in electrics, like the Mini E, the Nissan-Leaf, and the Tesla-roadster. If you make your new car an electric one, you'll never have to visit a petrol station again. And that means no more worries about what they're charging at the pump. Instead, all you need is one of these. And that means no more of this. In fact, your car will have no tailpipe, be powered by your household electricity, and won't be putting out any emissions at all. But there's no such thing as a free lunch. The energy you put in has to come from somewhere. For example, if you live in Melbourne, that somewhere means brown coal, which is the dirtiest of all fossil fuels in terms of carbon. So if you want to know if your new electric car is the environmentally friendly choice, so instead of worrying about your tailpipe, you should be worrying about your power plant's exhaust pipe. So let's compare the carbon footprint of the Mini E with some petrol cars, converting both into grams of CO2 per kilometre driven, like a Porsche, a Mercedes C-Class, a petrol Mini, a Toyota Prius, or a Smart. Now, if you live in Hobart or Wellington, driving a Mini E will beat any petrol car. But if you live in Darwin, you're putting out as much carbon as if you were driving a Smart. With electricity from Alice Springs, it's like you're driving a Toyota Prius. With electricity from Adelaide, it's like you're driving a petrol Mini. With electricity from Sydney, it's as bad as driving a Mercedes. And if you're living in Melbourne, you might as well drive a Porsche. So whereas with petrol cars, the carbon footprint depends on the size of your engine, with an electric car, it depends on your energy source. Summing it up, hydro and wind are the cleanest energy sources, but only 10% of Australia is using them. Natural gas, or a gas-diesel mix, is next, but it is used in only sparsely populated areas. 80% of Australians are still using coal power, which in carbon emissions is dirtier than petrol. So knowing what we now know about the real carbon emissions of electricity, your car may not have a tailpipe you can see, but there's still gas coming out somewhere. In most of New Zealand, electricity is produced from renewable energy sources, with Wellington being the regional leader in installing wind farms. In most of Australia, electricity is generated from fossil fuels, like natural gas, diesel, black or brown coal. But electricity prices are largely the same all over. Now let's have a look at what the average commuter who drives 50 kilometres a day has to spend in monthly fuel costs. There is an alternative to all that dirty electricity. And no, it doesn't involve moving to Wellington or Hobart. It's called green power. If you pay a premium, your electricity company will buy power for you from recently built wind or solar plants, reducing your emissions to zero. This premium goes towards planned wind and solar plants, so they keep getting funding and keep getting built. This is how much that average commuter would have to pay for green power in an electric car. This is how much you'll have to pay for fuel this year. And this is how much you'll probably have to pay for fuel next year. And it's only going to keep going up. Green power doesn't look so expensive anymore, does it?
Extreme waves are back again, extreme places I didn't know. I broke everything new again, everything that I'd owned. I threw it out the windows, came along. Extreme waves I know will part the colors of my sea. Perfect color me. Extreme waves that held me out late at night. Extreme places I had gone to never see.